Namaste and welcome. Today's conversation explores a question on many minds. In an age of constant digital noise, anxiety, and endless distraction, where do we turn for balance and meaning? Gen Z, often described as the most connected generation, is redefining how we think about mental health and spirituality. A growing number identify as spiritual but not religious, seeking mindfulness, meditation, and purpose outside traditional institutions. Interestingly, the answers they are turning to often come from ancient sources, from religious scriptures, guidance on inner steadiness, to yogic practices that calm the mind and strengthen focus. To help us unpack this intersection of ancient wisdom and ancient well being, we are joined by Dr. Abhishek Ghosh, Dean of Faculty at KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies, one of India's leading centers for the academic study of Indian philosophy, religion and culture. Welcome, Dr. Ghosh. Dr. Ghosh is a scholar of international repute with a PhD from the University of Chicago and a master's from Oxford. His research and teaching span over 18 years across India and the US, and he has represented India's cultural and diplomatic interests at the United Nations. Through his work, he has consistently bridged traditional knowledge and in contemporary discourse, making him the perfect voice to explore how timeless dharmic insights can guide mental health, purpose, and identity in today's digital age. So, once again, welcome, Dr. Ghosh. I think this topic that we are going to discuss for the next 30 minutes is a timeless topic in today's life. And we are so glad that we've got the opportunity to discuss this in detail and understand this from an expert's point of view. So, my first question is that uh, mental health crisis meets ancient solutions. That's the topic that we are talking about. And over the past few years, we have seen reports highlighting alarming levels of anxiety and depression, especially among Gen Z. From your perspective, how can ancient Indian frameworks like meditation, yogic practices, or dharmic teachings offer sustainable tools for mental well being? Kindly please enlighten us.
Thank you for asking that question. And I've worked on university campuses across the world, and I have noticed how much students struggle with what we call, or what I call in my curriculum, the SAD problem. S
Hmm.
stands for stress, A stands for anxiety, and D stands for depression.
Hmm.
I tell students, I tell corporations I work with, I tell business leaders, I tell politicians, I tell entertainers that, hey, you take 5 to 7 minutes every morning to take care of your dental health. Are you taking just that much time to take care of your mental health? Brushing our
Well
teeth
said.
is an everyday practice, and it shows when we smile. Similarly, meditation should be an everyday practice, which shows when we interact with people. We don't go out of our homes without dressing properly. Are we dressing our mind before we meet the world? So I request everybody who's listening to just take your practice, whatever it may be. It may be chanting, it may be silence, it may be quietly reading, it may be just focusing on the smoke rising from your morning coffee, whatever it might be. But start somewhere, make it a daily habit. You will see the ROI on such spiritual investments multiply more than your monetary investments. You're going to live longer, live happier. And these are things that don't cost you anything. Thank
Like
you.
the best things in life don't cost anything. Very, very well put. And what I gather is that, so far meditation, mindfulness are more of a reactionary measure. When something befalls on us, we want to take care of it, and that's when we think about it. But it should actually be a proactive thing, as you rightly said. Um, and so, in your curriculum and in your um, you know, uh, um, material that we have read, how do concepts like equanimity or detachment from the Bhagavad Gita, transform the way that we understand mental health today?
So, Bhagavad Gita is a very interesting text, and I've been studying it since I was 7. Um, and this is what I have come up with, that if your mind is sharp like Arjuna's arrow, and your heart is light like the feather on Krishna's head, then you are combining speed with direction. Think about it. An arrow without a feather at the back has speed but no balance of direction. We all need a Krishna in our lives,
No.
a mentor, a friend, a well wisher, somebody who can give us a pep talk. But we also need not a Krishna, but Krishna in our lives. We don't have to necessarily believe that Krishna is God. Krishna's dearmost devotees in Vrindavan, the Gopikas, didn't think Krishna was God. They just loved. They took his advice seriously, and their lives were transformed. So, the Bhagavad Gita or other books like the Dhammapada, the Jain Agamas, the Guru Granth Sahib, Bharat has produced a library of jewels in terms of a spiritual literature. These are the greatest gifts that our ancestors have given us. They have been through challenges, they were resilient, and then they wrote about these things, knowing that a day is going to come when this knowledge, these stories, these poems, these songs are going to be important. And what we are doing here at Somaiya Vidya Vihar University, that we have designed what we call basket courses. Every student who graduates from our university must take at least one course in spirituality, one course in nature appreciation, one course in music and performing arts. In this way, they have to take at least one course in the time that they spend with us, so that by the time they graduate, we're not just creating engineers who are one track mind, we are creating wholesome, well rounded citizens.
That's
So,
funny.
Dharma, I look at it this way: Dharma is like salt, right? When you eat food, if it is without salt, the food is tasteless. Too much Dharma without anything else is going to give you high blood pressure, right? So there needs to be a little bit of Dharma every day in your life. And the deeper you go, you will see Dharma Rakshati Rakshita, which means Dharma, when sustained, sustains. If you want a sustainable life of balance, then Dharma must be the cornerstone.
Uh, so my next question is that what I mentioned in the introduction, that today's Gen Z consider themselves more spiritual and less religious. So I know that you have given a good example of how you are already making it compulsory as a subject in your institution. But if you could give us some real examples as to, an example of a chapter or an example of a session in your institution where this takes place. Just give us some idea.
Sure. You mentioned Gen Z, so let's start there. A lot of people come and say that spirituality is something that they take up when they grow old. And I ask them a question: do you want to have a lifetime of blunders and then come to a realization that, oh, I should have started early? In terms of courses, we have several. This semester, we are offering almost 35, and it ranges from the life of the Buddha to courses in Sanskrit. And I have a course called Mind Mastery, and a particular course meant for management schools called Mindful Leadership. And I believe that in today's world, there is a serious lack of good mindful leadership. What is mindful leadership? It is an inside out, purpose driven servant leadership. And people often mistake between being a boss and being a leader. People think that being a leader means being a boss, whereas being a leader means being a servant. Leaders eat last. Oh. And when you inculcate these values in people, and you said compulsory, first of all, it's not compulsory. There are a lot of options from which people choose, but they have to choose at least one course in spirituality in the course of their careers, right? So they have a choice. And the core course that we are working on this semester is something I designed called Mind Mastery. And this is what I say that because of our minds, we experience what is called the sad problem, the problem of stress, anxiety, and depression. I'm not getting into details here. And the mind, according to the Bhagavad Gita, is our friend as well as our enemy. When the mind is a master, our mind is our enemy. When we master the mind, our mind is our friend. And the mind, and I have an acronym for the mind, it's called the Mind's Framework. And this is proprietary material. So whoever is listening, please don't copy. The mind magnifies problems. That's M. It makes mountains out of molehills. If your dear and if a loved one does not come back by 7 p.m. when they said they would, you begin to think that they are dead. We always think in terms of catastrophic situations. That is the first thing our mind does. It magnifies problems, and the solution is to demagnify the problem. The second is imagines pleasures. We believe that, when we are in high school, once we get to college, we'll be very happy. And then we get to college and we are told that, oh, when you get a job, you'll be very happy. When you get a job, they tell you only when you have a mortgage, you'll be very happy. And by the time you finish paying your mortgage, it's time to retire. And by the time you retired, your life has passed you by and you're not still happy, right? So we have a trap called imagining pleasures. And the solution to that, like demagnifying problems, reimagine pleasures. Then MIN. N is the mind never stops. Point never stops, right? What do we do with that? We create checks and balances for the mind. The Bhagavad Gita says that it is more difficult to control the mind than to control the direction of the wind. However, if you change the direction of your sail, that same wind that you were trying to control, you no longer try to control it, but it pushes you towards your dharma. And dharma is one's essential nature. The dharma of water is to flow. The dharma of the sun is to shine. The dharma of Zakir Hussain is to play tabla. And I encourage my students to discover their dharma. Right? Then comes D. The mind distorts reality. We think we are mind readers. Somebody might have said something with innocence, and we think we know what their intention was behind it. So, learning how to just drop it, right, is like dropping hot coals in your hand when somebody else is putting it there. Imagine if somebody put hot coals in your hand and you carry it thinking, one day I'm going to put these hot coals back at that person out of revenge. But while you're carrying it, you're burning your own hand. So, and drop it. Drop it. So that's the mind formula. And if you take the course with me, I'm going to give you the S.
I will surely register. I feel the need for it. Uh, I want to quickly ask you, we are living in this everywhere, it's digital age, digital age. We are consuming information at the tap of the finger. Everything is that way is available very easily. But that is also amplifying anxiety to a great extent. So, is there any way we can use this technology to our benefit? And is it already happening? The technology is helping bridge successfully, the ancient teachings, this wisdom, and modern learners.
Here is an ancient diagnosis of a modern problem. In this universe, you have 5 basic elements: earth, water, space, wind, and fire. Everything that you see around you is essentially made out of these 5 elements in a permutation and combination of things called gunas. Guna is a rope or something that ties it in. So, your smartphone screen, essentially, according to ancient knowledge, is Agni. Agni means fire. When you're staring at Agni all the time, what Agni does is it agitates your mind. Fire has its place, but an overexposure to fire is not good for you. Vata is wind, has its space, but overexposure is not good for you. There needs to be balance. This is the Ayurvedic diagnosis of what is happening with our smartphones. Our mind is what is called vikshipta in yogic terminology. That means agitated because of this kind of an overexposure. Here is a solution. These things are designed to be addictive. There is no way around it. The tech companies have hacked the human brain and gives it the crack cocaine. Essentially, what we have is an adult version of a pacifier. Children have pacifiers in their
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This word, this itch, they need to suck on something. Adults have this itch to be engaged in what is known in Ayurveda and yoga as an experience of rasa. Rasa means experience of positive emotions. It can be negative emotions too, right? That's what we are looking for. But we are looking for rasa in places that is not helping us. And I
Okay.
often tell friends in the business world that you're really good at what you do from 9 to 5. Let me help you with what you can do from 5 to 9.
So first, out of my own curiosity, this is not part of the script, but when you conduct these sessions in the college, is it full attendance or do people tend to skip it?
See, I have taught across the world and I teach in multiple formats to multiple audiences. Like, I split my time between Mumbai and Gainesville, Florida. In the community there, you have about 10,000 people sometimes tuning in to listen to things online. And so sometimes I don't even see my students. I have monks and nuns studying who do not interact with male members, so I don't see them. And sometimes, I'm in a class full of people. Sometimes I'm speaking to business leaders, one person at a time. I teach across multiple formats, across multiple continents, but the message is the same. I teach dharmic leadership that is rooted in culture and grounded in well being. It's leadership. And leadership happens behind closed doors. The real you is the person who is in your room alone. Who are you? That's the leader. You are actually leading yourself. That's where leadership begins. And in Sanskrit, the word leader can be neta, but if you look at it closely, the word for eyes is netra. Your eyes are leading your body. In your driving, you're looking at your path. So those people who help us see beyond ourselves are leaders. And when we are able to see ourselves beyond our bodies, beyond our minds, beyond our mistakes, we are an inside out, purpose driven leader. Right? And I'm speaking the same message, whether to one person, like I'm speaking to you, your audiences will listen to this. The message is the same. I have not made this up. I have just realized it by practicing it and seeing its benefits in my life. And I think this belongs to the world. And I invite anybody who is interested to come and have a chat with me, take one of our courses, find me online, and I am always here to serve you.
Dr. Ghosh, short but very, very enlightening. And I wish many, many people learn from your wisdom and take benefit from your knowledge. It will help all of us for a long time to come. So, thank you, Dr. Ghosh, for sharing these profound insights. Your perspectives remind us that ancient wisdom isn't just about history, it's a living repository that continues to guide us through the complexities of our modern lives. And KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies stands at a unique crossroads, if I may say, where tradition meets modern academia and where philosophy meets daily practice. For students and seekers alike, if it offers not just courses, but pathways to meaning, inner balance, and purpose in a rapidly changing world. We truly deeply appreciate your time and the clarity you have brought to these conversations on spirituality, mental health, and the timeless search for purpose. Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Thank you very much.